Good day, grade 8s, and welcome to Thuma Mina Teaching. My name is Gr8, and today we'll be continuing with our current topic, which is the particle model of matter with a focus on density. If you are tuning in for the first time, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for everybody that has been following the lessons, welcome back. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready. Let's start. Have you ever wondered why oil floats on top of water? Or why a metal cargo ship floats on water? This is because different substances have different densities. And that brings us to today's topic, which is density. In this lesson, we will focus on the definition of density, formula and units for density, and calculations involving density. Well, let's not waste any time. One of the skills in science is the ability to define scientific terminology. And one of the words is density. The definition for density is mass per unit volume. It is important to note that the formula for density is always written as an equation. Mr. Neon, I think it's about time that you assist us with a specific equation. Density is mass divided by volume. In science, we use specific symbols and letters. I think it's time that we call on Mr. Neon to show us the formula for density. The formula we use for calculation is capital letter D equal to small letter m divided by capital letter V. It is also important to use the correct unit when doing density calculations. Density is measured in grams per cubic centimeter. Grade 8s, are you ready to do some density calculations? Let's start with question 1. Calculate the density of an object with a mass of 6 grams and a volume of 4 cubic centimeters. The first step in solving any equation is the importance of writing down all the information for that specific equation. Let's do that. Now, if we look at this specific question, we can see that we are supposed to find the answer for density. What was given to us, grade 8s? What we have is the 6 gram, which represents the mass. We also have the 4 cubic centimeters, which basically represents the volume. Now, if you look at the equation, density is equal to the mass divided by the volume. So we have to now substitute this into the equation. Then we replace the symbols with the information that we have. Mr. Neon, can you help us with that? Excellent work, grade 8s. You've just completed your first density calculation. Let's move on to our next question, where we have to manipulate the formula. Let's grab some pen and paper. Calculate the mass of a candle that has a density of 0.9 grams per cubic centimeter and a volume of 6 cubic centimeter. Remember, we always start by writing the formula and all the relevant information. When we look at this specific question, density equals to 0.9 gram cubic centimeter. What we're trying to find in the answer is the mass, and what is given to us is the volume, which is 6 cubic centimeter. When we look at the specific sum, we replace density in the formula with 0.9 and volume with 6. Instead of dividing, we do the inverse operation, which is multiplication. We multiply 0.9 by 6 to get the answer, which is 5.4 grams, which is the mass that we are looking for in this specific answer. Now that we are on the roll, what about a third question? And I think most of you are thinking of, we've looked at density, we've looked at mass, so what are we calculating next? Correct, volume. In our next question, we're going to calculate the volume of a box that has a density of 2 grams cubic centimeter and a mass of 4 grams. As always, we write down all the relevant information for the specific equation. When you look at this question, the density given is 2 grams cubic centimeters. The mass given is 4 grams. So we are trying to calculate what the volume is. The next step is always formula density equals to mass divided by volume. Like before grade 8, we now have to replace the symbols with values. 2 gram cubic centimeter for density and 4 gram for mass. To calculate the volume, we must take the mass and divide it by the density. In other words, volume equal to 4 divided by 2 and gives us 2 cubic centimeters. You guys are awesome and you've really worked hard today. Luckily, we are almost finished for today. But do you remember the question that I asked in the beginning of the lesson? Why does oil float on water? Or why does a metal cargo ship float on water? Are you able to answer this question by now? Fantastic, grade 8. You are right. The two substances have a different density. Both the oil and the cargo ship is floating on the water because it has a lower density than the water. Well, and just like that, we've came to the end of our lesson for today, which focused on density. Please remember to subscribe to our Thuma Mina Teaching YouTube channel and to complete the quiz in the description below. Until our next lesson, please remember, stay dense. Up until our next lesson, goodbye.